it's Samantha from Samantha's Designs. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing something a little bit different. I have resized a project that I saw on Mixed Up Crafts. It's a Poochie style bag that she did, and I'm making it a little bit smaller to fit what I needed. So my end product is just a little bit over 6 by 6 with probably, let me see how wide this is. And it's 3 inches wide. So let me tell you what we're using. I'm using two 6 by 9 pieces of paper. That's the white. And then the black 5, and you're going to need 2 of each of those. So on the white cardstock, I did not get this down to the right size, so it's supposed to be 6 by 9. So I had mismeasured, so I'm going back to do that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy this one. I had such fun making this project, so please think about subscribing. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Alright, and we're going to score both of the pieces of white on 3 inches. And we're going to just fold those just so I can kind of keep up with where everything is and make sure it's nice and straight and burnish the fold lines. Okay, and then I'm using this piece of white Couture Creations double-sided adhesive, and I'm using this black and white pattern paper. This is a Recollections brand pack that I had in my stash, and this is kind of what started this. I know I wanted something where I could use this 6 by 6 paper, and I'm actually going to add it to the white cardstock. So I decided on the checkerboard print, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this roll, and I'm going to very carefully, in getting it as close to straight as I can to get as much of the adhesive on it as I can. I'm doing both at the same time, which for me is risky. I'm very impressed I did that. And then we're going to cut this out. So that takes a little bit of time. I'm using my fiskars because they're supposed to be not be able to go through things that are sticky without any problem, but I'm going to be honest, they still are a little bit difficult to get through this particular double-sided adhesive, but it does okay. It does okay. It's not bad. It's not too bad. So as I'm cutting this out again, this was so much fun to do. I hope the sound is excited, and I was so glad. I'm not good at altering other people's products to fit the size that I need. Usually I really struggle with that, and it takes me a long time. But with this one, for some reason, I got it. I mean, I did all the fractions and the math with no problem. So to make up, because this wasn't quite fitting the 6 by 6 paper, I am using some other double-sided adhesive I have in my stash. I used 2 pieces of 1 inch a piece, and then this one little 1/8 of an inch strip, and so that I have coverage from side to side. I didn't really want there to be anywhere where there wasn't any coverage with the adhesive, so I just wanted to make sure it stuck really well and I wasn't going to have any problems with it buckling or whatever. And since it's paper, I didn't really want to use liquid glue because I was afraid that I would get bubbles in it and it wouldn't look really good. So that's kind of why. I'm bringing in my scoreboard because I'm going to use it to help me make sure I square this up. And I had to turn it so I could get it towards me because I was reaching too far. It was really difficult. So I make sure, now if you're doing this, if it's pattern paper and it has a direction, make sure you know what the top of the bag is. So the score line, the under part, that's the bottom. So at the top, so you got to make sure that directional paper is going in the right direction. And then I just start peeling it back and smoothing it down, and it did beautifully. I've seen other people do this trick and it really does work, so I was really excited about that. I had a little bit of overhang, which I couldn't quite figure out why, so I tried to just burnish it down as best I could, and on the final bag you couldn't even tell, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. So I'm going to do the other side here, and then we're going to get started on the next element of the bag. Okay, the black pieces become the side of the bag, and so you have to score at 1 inch and 4 inch. Okay, and I'm doing both pieces of paper. And then for the bottom, you just pick whatever's going to be your bottom and score at 6 or 3, depending on how you do it. Now I'm going back to the 5 inch side, and I'm scoring just from at the 2.5 inch score line going down to about 4. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that. Then I am going to take and burnish I'm going to fold the side so I can see a little bit better. And I'm going to line up my T-ruler from the point of where I stopped, that 2 inch going down to the 4. And I'm going to do from side to side. I'm doing this with a little stylus and I'm using my T-ruler. And I'm going from each corner from the top. I'm going from each corner down to that point. Not all the way to the corner of the paper, but just to the corner of where it is scored. I'm hoping that makes sense, and I'm hoping you can see this. I am going to put Mixed Up Crafts information down below so you can see her tutorial. She may explain it a little bit better, but I'm just giving you my dimensions because I did alter this a little bit and then followed everything that she did to the T. Okay, so that's going to make the background. Now this is where it gets a little bit difficult to me. Now the middle fold that's at 2.5 inch needs to be a valley fold, and I use my ruler to help me start, making those folds, if that makes sense. And then I'm using it on the back side because I flipped it over because the other things, that the X part of it needs to be mountain folds. So I'm on the back side of the paper. Again, I'm hoping that makes sense. And the reason you're doing that is because when you fold it all together on the sides, it becomes to a point when you put the bag together. And you'll see I'm trying to start making that little bit of a point and just kind of working with it and trying to make it work out. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so when you get to this point, you've got to cut out the bottom triangles. That's going to be the bottom part of your bag. And then you're going to want angle cut, especially if you're going to put it on the inside, as far as the flaps to each side. Do your little angle cuts. I did this and decided not to do the top because I was like, I'm going to put my flaps on the outside where she did hers on the inside. I thought that would be a really cool look, and I really liked the way it did that, but I should not have done the little wedges or snips now when I think about it at the bottom of the bag, but definitely the bottom flap that's going to be part of the bottom bag you want to do, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting the pieces together. So I'm doing the side flaps first. This is the inside of the bag, so I am putting those flaps, and I'm making sure the seams and the score lines all match up for the bottom of the bag. So I'm making sure, it's where it's supposed to be. I'm kind of going back and forth, making sure it's adhering really well. So if you watch hers, she puts her flaps on the inside. So it's just kind of whatever you want to do, what kind of look you want. I wanted that little bit more element where the black was showing a little bit more. And I really liked how it turned out. I think I'd have liked it even better if it had been on a bigger bag. But that's okay. It worked out fine, and I really, really liked it. Now, you have to be kind of patient here. You got to let your glue dry. So once I get this whole bag together, I actually walked away for probably good 20-30 minutes just so I could make sure everything was stuck really well. And this is what gives the bag its strength, I think, is just giving everything time for it to dry, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be, and make sure it's lined up. You've got to make sure those folds are lined up. Now I'm going to put down in the description below where the pieces that I cut, where to score and everything, just so you'll have that to follow. And it'll also be on my blog post, and my blog and everything's listed in the description below, along with everything else like TikTok and Instagram and everything else. I'm everywhere except Twitter, I guess. Okay, so I used some ovals and this little cute little heart die that actually is used to make a keychain, I believe. But I did it in white and I did it in silver metallic. I thought that was really cute. And I did not get them centered as well, but you can barely tell on the final version. But I make sure they're all lined up. And I added the white just because, and that wasn't so much that the craft part was going to show, it's just that I wanted it to have a little bit more strength. And again, with that glue between the layers, it really does make a difference to help everything kind of be strong. So this I just kind of cut in half because I'm going to put one on the front and one on the back. There's some poles that weren't quite punched all the way through, so I took care of that as well. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere on the back just the little flat portion. I'm not adhering anything else because this whole part is going to go on the bag itself. So going to do the same thing, and I'm lining them up. You see how I'm kind of putting the other one below it, and I'm just doing that to try to make sure that these are lined up in as close to a match as possible. If you had a grid mat, that would be great. I don't work off a grid mat. I hate measuring stuff. I don't know why, but I just do. Now I decided for the inside of the bag I wanted another piece just to make it a little stronger. So this actually is just a shy hair smaller than 3 by 6. So I would say it is 2 7/8 by 5 7/8. And I'm doing the same process again to get the paper on that piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use my little guillotine trimmer this time to kind of trim this down, and I'm going to put that on the inside of the bag. My plan is, and that's just again just to make it stronger. So I am putting the white piece, one of the white pieces down first, and then I am going to glue the flaps on. And again, for the glue, you use what brand you like. I like Elmer's Craft Bond. That's my go-to glue. I love that glue. It serves its purpose really, really well. So I got the flaps down. I kept wanting to pop up, but I finally got them to stay put long enough. And then I'm going to get this bottom piece down. And this glue, I don't know what it is. I have the smaller containers that I like the best, but this big bottle I've been trying to use up. I've had it for a while, but the glue is much thicker. I'm not quite sure why that is. There's probably a good reason for that, but I don't know what it is. And then I am going to put this last little piece, and that just kind of finishes off the inside, so it looks really, really nice and neat. Yeah, I'm really excited how this turned out. I can't stress that enough. So I ended up trying to put one of my blocks in there, so I finally found one that I could press down to get it, feel like it was adhering well. So when you pinch it close, it's so cute. I love the shape of it. I'm going back to my smaller one, and I'm going to start putting on, so I put glue all over the heart and the little ring, and I'm going to make sure that it adheres really, really well. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to just try, again, I'm just doing eyeball technique. Mine is not perfectly aligned, but it's pretty darn close. I'm going to tell you, pretty darn close. I was surprised I did that well. So I just try to make sure everything is straight as it can be, or as aligned as it can be, and then I'm going to, it kept wanting to come off for some reason, but once I got it where I wanted it, I go on the inside and just pat it down. And then again, give it time to dry. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so I decided to make a little dangle chain as well, and I was having a really difficult time. This is actually not embossing floss. This is, what is it called? This is string made out of hemp, or hemp string. I don't know what you would call it. But then I couldn't get it to thread. I had a really huge needle that I usually use for my cross stitching on my cards, but so I decided just to thread it by hand, and I had to use the pin to get it through that purple piece a little bit better. And then I put another black bead, and I'm just going to tie this off and make a little dangle. I'm not sure I'm in love with this dangle, I'll be honest with you. If I could do it over again, I would probably do this a little differently, but I still like it. It's still cute. Alright, and I'm just going to hang that on my bag, and then we're done, pretty much. So I'll show you how the bag looks, and it's so cute. Now you could also, I forgot, I just put feet on this. I forgot. So I used some half-back rhinestones, the biggest ones I had, and I just put those up there to add little feet to the bag and let those dry as well. But I just love how this turned out, guys. Alright guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this project. All the information will be below, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.